It's okay. We are on YouTube now.
Baruch Hashem. Toda rabba Rabbi Pinchas. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm following.
Oh, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Shalom, shalom, חברים, tzadikim, tzadakot, our followers at a different platform. They are on a Zoom. We have got Tzadik Zuko. Welcome. I hope others will that the Zoom will join us along the way. Yeah, just to remind us that the Chief Rabbi of Africa, Chief Rabbi Pinchas Eliyahu Shaddai, will give a limud to teach us on a shedel on Rosh B'Shvat. Many of us are not familiar with it because there is always the first thing in life. Yeah, because we have got the Mishnah tells us we have got 4 different New Years, and we are now about to end a New Year for trees. So the Chief Rabbi Pinchas will orient us into this. So please stay tuned when he starts. I think the time he will start was also given on the platform. We are not going to be long or to take long. We're not going to take long. I have got questions most of the time. But when I'm in the class or before my master, I don't have questions. I prefer to listen and to follow. And the time I would ask, but very short. Welcome, Tzadik Funeka. Welcome to our limud. So I'm full of questions, but this does not mean that you should not ask when there is something to ask. No, you ask. This is my personal way of listening first. Because like I have learned from my master, at times you have to sit down. Maybe the question that you have now, from the beginning of the presentation of a presiding rabbi, maybe it's included exactly in what he's teaching. It didn't come to that point yet, but it will come. Again, it is not to discourage you not to ask questions. You are most welcome to ask questions. I wanted to ask us a few questions. And it's based on a Mishnah. The Mishnah in Greek about the ethos of the fathers, as it is translated. It says, now, when you are walking on the way, do not look at the side to a nice field, a nice or a looking mountain and said, oh, what a beautiful mountain. Oh, what a beautiful tree. Our sages cautions us and said, no, maybe that's the time your life will be recalled. So those things are prone to take the mind of man from the course of Torah. Our sages encourage us much more, not much more, encouraging us to focus on the Torah. Now and then, the Chief Rabbi of Africa would emphasize, and this is the emphasis of the India Chief Rabbinate of Africa, that he leads, and said, everything that you see is just illusion. Nothing is truly real. No matter how much we kill each other, we hate each other, we slander each other, in the name of those things that appear before us, remember, those are only illusions. So in illusions, it appears that man is caught in the illusions. I wanted to ask us, when we look at our world, our environment, we look at what appears to be, as they said, development, technology, advancement. Welcome, Sedeket, Natalia. The so-called, the thing people called technology advancement. Now we do have got, nowadays we have got something called artificial intelligence. It's a term that we in our generation, we are bombarded with. We look at the science advancement. That it seems, not it only seems, that it permeated every single area of human existence. Of course, artificial intelligence is part of science. And they have got different versions, different terms to make it so sweet. And my question is, what if it did not start in our lifetime, in our generation? What if? What else is there, or what is not there that does not defy your mind, my mind, in our lifetime? What is it that does not, in our lifetime, in our generation, that does not defy your mind, my mind? What is there? Or what is it not there? You look at the food, what people call the food. You look at the clothing, what people call clothing. You look at anything, everything else seems to have been advanced. And apparently to make life easy for man. What is it there, or what is it not there that make our heart jump? We are being thrilled. We are being overwhelmed by things. Every day there is something new. Meaning that there are some nations who are not really asleep, but devising so many things. I remember those days, those of my age, a battery, just a battery, either of a car. I remember my dear good father, one of his second car he brought, it was 1968, yeah, 1968. A bedfold. Those days, yeah. It was only 3 years ago that he sold that car because it was no longer, it stood. The battery of that vehicle, all those years, did not die out. But nowadays, a battery only lasts a couple of hours, couple of weeks, a couple of months, is done. What is it not there that overwhelm, thrilling our heart, taking our mind away? What is it not there? It's a challenging question to ask, dear Tzadikim, Tzadakot, that deserves an answer. You are not forced to answer, but it would be good to interact. So the question simply invite us to engage into discussion. What is it not there, dear friend? Yes. I wait for your answer, or your answers, or your contribution.
There's very little, Rabbi, there's very little, because the moment we wake up in the morning, the world tells us how to do things, what to think, what to do, how to structure our days. It tells us what is important, what is not important. So by the time we are conscious of giving Hashem his time, we're already tired.
Tzaddik Zuko, I think there is an echo. I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, all right. Let me just make a few changes here. Sorry.
Yes, please go on. But very interesting. Well, did I chase you? I didn't mean to chase you, but now you are completely gone.
Can you hear me now?
Very good. Now you are very, very clear now. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. No,
it's okay.
I was saying, Rabbi, that there's very little that the world doesn't try and control us. In the moment we wake up in the morning, it tells us what to do, what to think, what to see, what not to see, what to eat, how to eat. For everything that was natural for us, the world has taken control of. And by the time we think of spending time with Hashem, we are too tired. We go to sleep, and then we wake up the next morning to repeat the cycle.
Baruch Hashem. You just hit the really point. And this is where we are going to look at in a few minutes. And yeah, we are not going to complete exactly the whole idea, because it's so hard to, not hard. When you delve into the word of the Chazal, you would see that man maybe have to come back again into this life in order to understand probably just one sentence they are using, or perhaps it's just one word. Just one word. So that's why, I learned from my master, because the word of Torah is an ocean. You are in the middle of the ocean and you don't know, you cannot see the end of the ocean or the other end of the ocean, but you are just there. Not just, but you are there. You don't know how deep that thing is. And you don't know even how shallow it might be. You don't know, but you are floating. This is how I see Torah. Okay. Any other comment before sometimes being carried on by any other comment, another opinion, other perspective, contribution. Okay, Beseder. Today not today. The reason why I asked that question is based on the parsha of this very week. Shana Rishona, according to Ben Shchai. Shana Rishona, halachot, parashat Po. And it is based on a halacha of reciting Shema. Remember last time when we were in a Pasha Vayera, Ben Ishchai was leading us into the word Machar. And he was playing with the position of the letters to mean Rechem, to mean Racham, to mean Ramach. All these have got to do with something. And we did not go as far as discussing just a little bit about the three paragraph, call it a paragraph of the Shema. Shema consists of three paragraphs. And according to Ben Ishchai, and what we know and what we see that each and every one of these, the numbers of the words in each paragraph matters a lot. I give an example. For those who are in some of the WhatsApp group, particularly Southern Africa, there is a group called Olam Knesset, where a number of us in that group would ask the chief rabbi some questions. You would remember what I used to say. The Torah is not about only the letter that you see. It's about also the numbers of the letters in a word. They mean something. Ben Ishchai here, in the last week Pasha, is leading us exactly into the same thing. No, it's the opposite. I am confirming to us, to myself, what I have learned from the sages of Torah of the previous generations through my master, the chief rabbi of Africa. The first passage of Shema, this is just a passage, not a paragraph. It consists of 6 words. Shema Israel, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. It consists of 7 words. And the silent passage also consists that you only recite it to yourself, not for yourself, but to yourself. I mean, by yourself, much more by yourself. English. Also consists of 6 words. Now, these are not the paragraph that I'm referring to. The first paragraph that speaks about loving Hashem consists of 42 words. And we know 42 words. I mean, not the 42 words, but that is a specific number, what it means. Now, you come to the second paragraph that is start with Ve'ahah im shamoah. That paragraph is divided into two. The first one, noten lachem, it ends there. It consists of 72 words. And we know the significance of that number. Those who are following the Chief Rabbinate of Africa's rabbi's teaching of Torah, we know. Okay, you may not know, perhaps. We know that that is the name of Havaya when you are using the Milui, but using the Yud. Okay, Besot Hashem, with the time. And when he thinks, whenever Hashem provides us, I will write on a board because it's for the benefit of those who do not know the concept. The concept, not the concept, the terms, the terminology that we use. What is Milu? What is Milui? Yeah, because it's not only, even many Jewish people do not know what Milui is. So the Milui is fulfilling the word. I mean the letters, not the word, the letters. So when the gematria value of the Milui of the name Havaya, using the Yud or Yudin, meaning the letter Yudin when they are many, numerical value, gematria value, it comes to 72. Now, the second part of the same paragraph consists of 50 words. The last one, this last paragraph, that speaks about Moshe being commanded to tell the children of Israel to make it tzitzis. This particular passage has got or consists of 69 words. Now you remember, according to Halakha, when you are praying with a minyan, you are in a congregation, you are in a Beit Knesset, and Shliach Tzibur is there, meaning the one who is presiding or leading the service is there. When he comes to the last part of that paragraph, you as an individual among others, you are no longer required to recite the last 3 words. It's the one who is reciting the service. He has to recite those 3 words 3 times. But if you are alone, you are required to do it. Why is so significant to do it? My sincere apology, there might be a noise. Why should it be important? No, the importance of reciting that 3 times is to compensate and to fulfill the number required, because at the Torah of Sod, if you, everything means something, and something very deep. So now, if you put all these numbers together, they will amount to 248. 248. What is this 48? This is what Ben Shai is playing with, that number expressed in words, Ramach. Wherever you hear any one of the chief rabbinate of the rabbis of the chief rabbinate of Africa uses the word Ramach, remember, he's talking about 248. And this corresponds to the positive commandment of the Torah, the positive commandment, like, for example, remember Shabbat. Yes, every mitzvah that you are required to do, to perform, are included in that number. Amazingly, that number is also corresponding to the name, or to the letters, or the grammatical value of the letters of the name Abraham. And the best of Hashem, with the time, we will see. We will go, not today, but the best of Hashem, with the time. We will see also how Ariya Kadosh is discussing these names, whether it's called Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. How did they come up? How did all El Shaddai? How did they arrive? How did, for example, Ariya Kadosh is helping us to understand and to go beyond the conventional way of studying Torah. Now, this is very, very well. This is not very well, but this number of the positive mitzvot, the many reasons is to help us fixing, or to bring a fix to the 2 letters of the name Havaya. Vav, Yud. Yeah. So now, going back. Going back to my earlier question. On this parsha, Bo, come. Moshe is commanded to come. To come to where? To Paro. I was studying slow by slow at my pace, letter for letters, word by word, sentence by word. Sentence by sentence of Ariya Kadosh. My dear good friend, maybe I should pause a little bit here before I get to the parsha. I'm so privileged and overwhelmed, and I still ask myself so many questions, because I have been around for a while now. Yes, I've been around, not only in the world of Torah, but in other things as well. What I have discovered at my age now, what I have discovered is that if you do not put on effort to learn, to probe, to investigate things around you and even about yourself, you are leaving yourself into the hand of others to determine and decide things for you. Yeah. The most thing that is being used in this world, the most thing is either the force or the power behind ignorance. Or ignorance is created for you or for anybody else to keep you away from the real knowledge. Because they know without if you do have got knowledge, you will be an independent thinker. You will release yourself from entanglement. But as long as you are in the mainstream, of the general flow of everybody, it's unfortunate. So I'm privileged to have been driven to the Torah of my master, that was passed to him also by his master, and so forth, until Moshe Rabbeinu. And with Hashem's help, we will still this. We will. In our limudim, that's not necessarily mean the future. Could it be tomorrow? I don't know. We will try to see in the teaching of Ari Kadosh, who is this man called Moshe? Who is this? Where did he come from? No, Ari Kadosh is helping us, particularly on the Pasha. The Pasha of this week. Boom. Okay, it's a subject of another day. Best of Hashem. Let's go. According to Ben Shai, he says, remember he said Shana Rishona. Shana Rishona, it always refers to the halacha or halachot that we do, that halachot that we when we do mitzvot. When we perform mitzvot, halacha or halachot is guiding us how to do that. Because it's not about the way you see it is right. Well, the other one is he sees right. Otherwise, if every human being could be left by his own device, yeah, the world is the way it is, as we will see. That's what Hashem in a few seconds, in a few minutes. והיה לך לאות על ידך וזכרון בין עיניך למען תהיה תורת אדוני בפיך. Ben Ishai, yes, he's always a tradition. He's bringing up a pasuk from the Pasha, or the Parashat of the week. So in this case, he took a portion of a verse. And that is verse, chapter 13 of the book Shemot, Pasha Bo. And the pasuk, I said chapter 13, and the verse 9. He is telling us that, or the Torah is telling us that this is sign What is this sign? That it should be, or we should, it should be on our arm. And a remembrance between our eyes. Leman, in order that it may, not it may, that it should be, not that it should be, yeah, but that it here, sometimes English is failing me, that it may be, not it may, it should, but it here, it should be Torah. It should be Torah of Hashem in your mouth. Beficha. And this, yeah, I have indicated already the chapter. And he went on to say, Nireli bisiata dishmaya, it appears to me with Hashem's help. Their dua, or their dua, Hashem itibarach tzivanu leaniach tefillin shel yad bishmol keneged lev. Let's wait there. Not to wait. Let's a little bit to translate. Here Ben Ish Chai is telling us that we were commanded to place leaniach, to tie, or to place the tefillin on our left arm, shmol, bishmol, keneged lev, or halev, opposite the heart. My dear friend, we are not cut and paste, or what? Copy and paste, yeah, copy and paste. The Torah tells us everything that we do. Yes, it may not be each one of us, like some say, like probably you might have heard. Yes, there are many throughout the generations of the Bnei Israel. There have been those who were claiming it to be Moshiach or Moshiachim. And that they do things. Are they written? No, it was discovered, no. At times things are discovered, no, it's not according to what is written. Ben Ish Chai here is telling us that we were commanded to put on tefillin. It's not a copy. We did not copy from that nation or that group of people. No, we were commanded by the Hakadosh Baruch Hu through the Torah that we have to put tefillin. It's not by hazard or by whatever, by chances, if there is such a word, if there is such a thing in life. We were commanded to put. Why it should be opposite the heart? Remember that we have studied when we were talking about, or we were learning about the three aspects of Yaakov. Three aspects. Yaakov without Evav, Yaakov with Evav, and the Israel. We have also learned that the Yaakov without Evav is connected to the heart. I mean, it's to the heart. To the heart. And it's connected to the nefesh. And we also saw, and maybe before that, okay, before that, we continue. Utefilin sheri rosh keneged moach. and the feeling of the head is the opposite, is the opposite, no, not the opposite, is a connected. Connected, yeah, it's a corresponding is the opposite of the moach. What is moach? We have learned that moach is connected to the name Israel. Moach, your moach, your moach. The brain, the mind. כדי לשבת מוחנו וליבנו להשם יתברך, in order to not to enslave, but much more to subject, to subject our mind and our heart to the name Hashem Yitbarach. What is this name? In most cases, it's these 4 letters. Havaya. Yeah. The Moach Hu Mishkan Chokhmah. And it tells us that the Moach, the brain, the mind, is linked and is connected. All is Mishachen, a neighbor. It's closer to the world of Chokhmah. והלב משכן ובינה, and the lev is closer, although its area is the Chokhmah, I mean the Bina. You know, if I put it in a human form, this refers to Abba and the Ima. The 2 of them, this in the name Havaya, this refers to Yud and the Hey. This 2, according to Arya Kadosh, this should always be in the union. The purpose, one of the purpose of that union is the existence of the level of existence. Ve'im elu itikadishu azikol ha'evarim negrarim achereim. Ben Ish Chai is telling us that if these 2, which are these 2, that means the moach, all, and the heart, the mind and the heart, if they get sanctified, then the rest of the rims will be dragged. Or in other words, the limbs by no any means will have any choice. That means by association, by implication, and not by implication, is what Ben Ish Chai said. They will be dragged, meaning they will all be sanctified. That it tells us something, my dear good friend. If we take it from our own help, if you sanctify the mochin, the way you think, the way I think, about any situation, if, for example, we put our prejudices, our biasness, all these prejudices aside, we are purifying or sanctifying our mind. It is also the case with the heart. If you sanctify the heart that our sages are saying is the center, the seat of all desires. The desires. If we sanctify that, that means all the limbs, just as I keep on saying, particularly in those WhatsApp group that I have mentioned, the heart, the heart, no matter how insignificant a limb or an organ it may appear to you or to me, according to its own capacity and ability, the heart gives a sustenance there, vitality there. But the moment there is a pagam is a blemish. The moment there is something about the heart, all your mind, my dear friend, the rest, by implication, the rest of the evarim, meaning the limbs, they are all contaminated. So meaning that this, my dear friend, my dear good friend, this tells us something. Let's go into these constituencies. They have divided you and I. Let's look at it in our own individual domain here and there. Could be in your individual life as an individual person. Let's look at this from our either individual or in global picture. You are in a constituency, it's called a state or called a country. What is this? How do you characterize how do you define the leadership of that country, of that constituency? They call it countries. That means anything that is a pagam at the head, rest be assured that every one of us under the so-called state, we will be corrupt. Many of us will be corrupt. Why? Because we look at the head. Many people, particularly in this thing called, not this thing, yeah, this thing called democracy systems that we are given. When you see people aspiring for power, many of us, many youth, and you ask them, what are you bringing there? What do you want to bring there? And what do you intend to bring to this? My dear good friend, you will get surprised to their answers. Many of them do not have truly a new thing. If the Torah tells us, Ben Ishai is telling us that we have to bring, for example, Chidushim, how you see. Okay, you learn the Torah, but how do you see? How do you see your environment? How do you see the whole thing? So, if you cannot bring a chidush in the thing, my master used this word. If you cannot bring spirituality, for example, to a thing called the presidency, or a thing called the Senate, or a thing called the parliament, or a thing called the executive, or a thing called the judicial, I'm sorry, my dear good friend, that thing will remain the way it is. So the young youth, our youth, when they are aspiring to be there, what do they want? Prestige. The first thing, in their mind is the prestige. But what do they say in a public platform? What do they say? Our people are suffering. Shalom, shalom, Tzaddik Kalomo. Welcome to our limud. I believe you will catch up, Besat Hashem. Yeah. So the prestige, that is what they are after. So now, Ben Ish Chai, by implication, with the due respect to us, meaning to our respective politicians, traditional leaders, and so forth, with due respect to them, if the head is corrupt, or the limbs are corrupted, not corrupt, but corrupted. The scenario Ben Ish Chai is giving us here, giving us that picture. Now, being the case, my dear good friend, I leave now Ben Ish Chai aside. I wanted to, the more you learn Torah, all you study Torah, the more one realizes that either you have been living a delusion life or a delusional life, either totally or partial, or you will discover that the really sound life. It becomes birur, it becomes clear when you study Torah. It becomes apparent. Everything will be clear to you. And probably you are doing yourself a favor. I'm doing myself a favor by putting the prejudices aside, biasness aside. I wanted to introduce you to, not introduce you to us, my dear good friend. Permit me to make, because we are going into the conclusion, because also my master has to give a limud on what I've said earlier on. I have it to take a particular case. It's not a constituency called a country, and its leadership. I'm pointing it. No, I have it to use an example, but this example has to be somewhere. For example, we do have got what I'm learning in social media. We do have got all Namibia, in Namibia, there is a case that is before court, the higher court for that matter. And this case is about removing what is commonly known on that side of the world, in Namibia, called the red line, called cordon fence. For those who do not know, this is a demarcation between rural or communal areas and everything that is in the communal areas. A number of them, particularly the livestock, do not pass a certain line to go to the commercial side of the same territory. This has been like that before the so-called independencies, and it continued, the legacy continued. even after. So some people in Namibia, prominent personalities, took upon themselves to challenge the government, trying to fight that this demarcation be removed. And yeah, the case is still before court. It is a common thing. It is a common thing in legal fraternity. It's a tradition of the court that when a matter is before the court, it's called, apparently it's called judice. Oh no, sub judice. Yeah, sub judice. That means that this matter should not be entertained, should not be discussed in public. As long as it is before court, no, you don't talk about it. So I'm not too sure whether, because Africa is much more dominated by two traditions when it comes to Occidental legal values or systems. One tradition is called civil law tradition. And the other one is called the common law tradition. I'm not too sure when it comes to civil law tradition. I'm not too sure of that. But common law tradition, this is a tradition that you don't speak about this case when it is before court. Now, as a layman, not knowing that well, but I'm not also ignorant. I go to my Torah. I go to my Torah. Yes, I go to my Torah. Now I'm asking myself, we do have got a thing called independent judicial, right? It's something common, independent judicial. But this independent judicial could be influenced by public opinion. How independent is it? Well, in what sense, the word independence, maybe I needed to be given a lesson. Is it only, I mean, we are just following a definition, a script of the same Occidental civilization. And they give us and said, no, this is how it should be. And then we look at it, oh, no, it has to be like that. That's one question I'm asking myself. And you do have got this thing, the case before the court must not be spoken. But yet you do have got a thing called the freedom of speech. So that means the court has got the right to suspend the freedom of speech of man. I do not want to develop deeper this concept, but I look forward to those days when the African people and beyond, wherever there is a person of my root, when they will take all these matters according to their own traditions. And I can bet you, your tradition is just Torah, nothing else. The Mishnah is the only tradition you have, my friend. It's not Harvard University to tell you what the law should be. It's not a juridist expert somewhere there to come and lecture you. You know it. You truly know these things. And I can prove it to you that you know it because it is written in our books. If in the generation of Alexander the Great, could come here and learn how justice is being dispersed, what else do you want? And he was told, you have to go to Africa. If the Africans were the first to be bestowed the crown and the institution of kingship, do you think we do not have that sense? Or do you think we do not have that knowledge? Certainly we do. But where did it disappear? How did it disappear? Oh, my dear good friends. So my freedom of speech about that thing, that case, could be suspended by a case of somebody before court. If it is the case, what did it create? If it is the case, what did it create? Okay. Another area that we needed to look, the pioneers of the idea of the Organization of African Unity, they came together. The idea was brilliant, according to their generation, to form the African Union, and not the African Union, the Organization of African Unity. And we ask ourselves now, as a student of Torah, which tool did they use to come up with that idea? Not only to come up with the idea, but also the tool to achieve the idea, the African unity, the African Union. And what is the character or the characteristic of this African Union? Coming back to the case before Namibian Higher Court. Our personalities, respected personalities, before court, when I listen to them, they are saying, some of them are saying, our country, because somebody said, no, you are a danger to Namibia. And they is being rebutted and said, no, you are the very one. And your clients, you are the very one. Our country, underline those words, our country. But yet, my dear good friend, the very institution you are arguing your case, initially it's not your case at all. It was brought to you by who? The thing called the countries and the infrastructure of a thing called the countries, they are not yours. They are not yours, my friend. We have to make ourselves understand the root of the construct that are responsible for the script we live by. We have to understand them. The Sion, the root of them. Yes. You cannot take something and say, okay, something that was made by somebody. You are coming said, I look ahead. You are using the same thing he gave you, or the same thing he controls. You wanted to fight the person, meaning the owner of the thing. Do not misunderstand me, my dear good friend. Going back to where I was going. What tools do you use to argue your case? Which tools do you use to achieve the thing called the Organization of African Unity or Union? What tools do you use? I remember my master some time ago. Something that pops into his remote. Somebody did ask a question. And then my master made the remark. He said, man, these people who are, these people, yeah, he used these people. They are the very one who give grant or they give loans. In the same time, they dictate how that loan should be used. And they are the very same one who will come back tomorrow and say, no, you are corrupt. How fair is it that thing is? How could you be a judge, a policeman, and the prosecutor at the same time? How? You gave me the loan. Okay, fine. You dictate how it should be used. Yes, fine. Again, you are the one to say, no, the guy, you are corrupt. Remember, I worked for the system too. Challenge me if you are at liberty to do that.
Just before you go on, Rabbi, can I bring?
Yes, please. Sadiq, I needed that interaction more than yeah. Yes, please.
You remind me of the African Youth Parliament. The African Youth Parliament was organized among young people, but the system that was given was not a system that would involve going back to tradition where the elders set the boundaries. They were given a system based on Roman politics. So the minute they started meeting in Pretoria, which is where the headquarters are for the African Youth Parliament, they have never agreed on anything. Young people, maybe the eldest among them was 45. They always fought about what needs to be done, who's going to be running what, who's going to be in charge of what. The funds were made available. I don't know where they came from, but the system given to them was still a Roman system. So it's just an organization that exists, but it doesn't do anything because it creates division every time they get together. That's what I'm remembering now.
Very good. Yes. What tools do you use to achieve what you are aspiring to achieve? My dear good friend, I'm speaking from not out of biasness, not even from any narrow angle. It would be a greatest embarrassment in any generation if you, with the due respect to us, with the respect, you, our respective kings and queens, our respective state presidents, and the list goes on. If you put us aside, I'm talking about the Chief Rabbinate of Africa, you will never be able to change. It's nice with your family to be surrounded by the bodyguard and given all these goodies and that or this, paraded everywhere that you are excellency, you are president, with due respect. The very same one who are parading you with them. You as a symbol, a very good tool, a very good figure for them to maintain the status quo. I'm saying, challenge us. That's a general statement. Challenge me, because I made that statement. The burden of proof lies with the one who makes the statement. Challenge me if you want to on that statement that I have made. You are a very good tool among your own ones. The disfavor that you are making your own ones in your constituencies, they have given. My dear good friend, the only disfavor that you make for yourself is to put aside, to ignore the Chief Rabbinate of Africa. We could give you very good tools how to rule, how to lead the very same society that they established according to their mind, according to their own values. They have established for you. They have established for us. I wanted to end my limud with in the course of the day, I translated it, this passage. It's taken from Yilukoti Haraim. This is not translated, it's the way it is. So there we find the discussion between a great Tana called Ishmael, Rabbi Ishmael. Is a great Tana. This great Tana, there was a discussion between him and an angel called Matat. And the Matat showed to this great rabbi how everything is being ruled, and the source of everything that we see on this level of existence. On this level of existence, everything, whether you call it the air or the wind, whether you call it anything, where it is rooted from, and the melachim, the angels that are behind the things that you see. Yes, they are illusions. Yes, but behind there is someone who is either projecting, if you want to, if that is the right word to use, everything, and this including of drawing the borders of countries or cities. And he said, from the thence, and he mentioned the name, I don't want to mention the name of that angel, the angel who is appointed over the whole host of stars. Stars, this understanding the Kochavim, this also include the main seven planets that are associated or linked to the 7 kings. Remember, 7 kings, the chief rabbinate of Africa, we are saying with one voice, if you do not understand the concept of 7 kings, my dear good friend, you better look for the chief rabbinate of Africa, Nusach Africa. Because then in their Torah, it's about that. So when it says stars, the Kohavim. There are angels who are appointed to do that. And we know everybody is born under a certain Kohav. Under a certain, those heavenly bodies. And with him are 365,000 great and honorable ministers, angels, ministering angels. That number should sound, that number should sound or ring a bell. 365,000. Okay, it's thousands. Okay. Who are the ones who keep the stars from city to city? And from country to country, in the firmament of heaven. And ascending from this are 72 princes of kingdoms in the heavens. You see the Midrash Rabbah discussing about the Rivka. Rivka, the wife of Yitzchak. Rivka was destined to bring this princess into this level of existence. But out of chipping, she was deprived to bring those princes here. Okay, it's a subject of another day. So, and it went on to say, kingdoms in heaven against the 7 languages in the world. And of all of them are bound with royal crowns and dressed in royal robes and wrapped in royal robes. And all of them ride on royal horses and hold royal scepters in their hand. And each one of them, as he walks in the firmament, he is pleased before him in great majesty and is in presence. In the presence of many royal sons. Sons, not the sons like sons. Okay, the sound is similar, but the sun, like a sun, like the sun. Yeah, like the sun. Okay. Maybe I have gone too far on this one, but the point is, why did I mention about what tools do you use? When you wanted to achieve a union, a unity, when you wanted to govern a thing called constituency, called a state, called a country, that was formed after a certain value system, a certain model that did not originate with your ancestors either, that your forefathers did not know. But that is what you are defending now. I'm not saying we must become, what is this, rebellious. No. Here we are talking about wisdom. We are talking about wisdom, to understand the things and how to approach them. Do our leaders know where to approach the things? If they knew, they wouldn't fight the way they are fighting. They wouldn't murder. Yeah, they wouldn't murder. Yeah, many people talk about the country it's so successful. We must be like that country. Yes, there are some our people in the continent of Africa who are pointing in certain countries that they are developed. If we can be like some people put up a challenge with me. I did ask, give me their bank account. I wanted to see how much is there. That was the end of argument. Why did I say they must provide me their respective bank account? The Torah tells us a king must not increase the silver and gold. Okay, gold. Neither horses. What is their bank account? What do their bank account telling us? Okay, my dear good friend, coming to the end of our limud, going back to Rabbi Ishmael. Rabbi Ishmael, in one of Midrashim called Mechilta, Rabbi Ishmael, in a tractate, what is it? Masechet. In Hebrew, it's Masechet. What is this? My goodness. Okay. Let me try to read it properly. Tractate. Yeah, tractate. Yeah, tractate. I got it. In Hebrew, it's Masechet. Well, yeah. The more you spend much more time into a language, the other language seems to, or the tongue seems to lose the memory of the other language that you used to speak. Okay. I'm not claiming to know Hebrew like I was born in the language, but Baruch Hashem, and my master is a witness there. Many years ago, he said, Elnatan, Elchanan, sit down and read. Even if you don't understand, just read. Not just. That's my own word. He said, read. With the time, Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Ishmael, in Midrashim, or in Midrash, Machilta. He says this. והיה כי יביאך השם אל ארץ הכנעני. These are very, very high concept, my good friends. כאשר נשבע לך ולאבותיך ונתנה לך והיה כי יביאך השם אל ארץ הכנעני. זכה כנען שתקרא הארץ על שמו. I will translate based on Hashem. וכי מה עשה כנען? Very interesting questions. Okay, maybe I should go before I get further. This is again commenting on the Pasha of this week. Bo. The same pasuk, but not the same verse that was quoted and taught by Ben Ishchai. Chapter 13. Here, Rabbi Ishmael is quoting pasuk 11. And it shall be when God, O Lord, brings you to the land of Canaanite. It doesn't say anything to me, my dear good friend, if I read Canaanite. What does it Canaanite mean? But if I read it in Hebrew, according to the tradition I received from my master, who is being referred to here as Hakanani, I understand more deeper than this. Canaan, no longer Hakanani, but now Canaan. Canaan merited that the land be called by his name. By his name. The land, what we call and that way we are made to know that we come to know, that we have lived, that we live on or we live in, is now called the land of Israel. The Torah maintains the land of Canaan. I'm saying the Torah. I look forward to anybody who comes and say to me, where did we get the authority to change it? I'm not dismissing. I'm not dismissing the sages of the earlier generations. No, understand, I've got my reasons, and the deeper reason, perhaps it's not the way you, it's not the way you think. The Torah maintains that. And I will take that global picture of the Torah to the concept that, or not to the concept, to the idea behind my question. I did ask already. What tools do you use? What tools do we use to unite this thing? This motherland called Africa. It's a thing now, because this is not the land that is described by the Torah. Okay, we go on. What did he do to deserve that? What did Canaan? Look at this. This is the level of Tana. The Tana. This is not Rabbi Elnatan Elchanan in this generation asking. No. This is the Tana teaching. The Tanaim in all of their generations, they were Nevi'im, they were prophets. When Canaan is explaining, when Canaan heard that Israel would enter the land, he rose and made the way for them. Whereupon, okay, no, wait a second. No, let me go to Hebrew. Elah, Canaan Shema, Canaan Israel, Nichnasim Laaretz, Amadi Ufina, Mipinehem, Amala Lo Hamakom. Remember, we discussed also in a previous part of last week. We discussed the concept of Hamakom that was developed from the name Yaakov. Ata Pinita Mipinei Benei Afu Ani Ekra Et Haaretz Ala Shmach Ve'aten Lach Eretz Yafo Yofa or Yafe, but yes, Yafa Ke Aretzech Ve'e Zo Afrik is where I wanted to lead us. Bit of translation. When Canaan heard that Israel would enter the land, he rose and made the way for them. Whereupon the Holy One, blessed be he, said, you made the way for my children. I will call the land by your name. I will call the land by your name. I look forward to hear, or to say, when was that changed? Look forward. I'm not. I've got my reasons as to why. It's a part of limud. If you are sensitive to it, I'm used to labels. I'm used to labels. It doesn't change me, particularly when it comes to my fellow Jews of the opposite color of skin. And of course, including those of the same color of skin. The same color of skin. You are the one to blame, to do what? What is this? To cast a blame. Pardon me.
They're the first ones to criticize.
Yes, very good. That's a very good word I was looking for. They are the very first one to criticize and say, where did you see that? Until it is spoken by the opposite color of skin of mine, that means mine is subjected to criticism and questions. That is what you, my fellow of the same color of skin, this is who you are. Until they say, I'm sorry for, it's not about racism here. No, and I will prove it at the end. You are the first one to criticize and say, no, which rabbi did he give him a smicha? Which yeshiva did he go to? How long is he in Israel? How long has he been converted? You are the very same one. The very first one. Where the others, my fellow Jews, brothers of the opposite of color of skin, you are the very one. When it is spoken by me, a person of this color of skin, you are the very one to jump. No, he is a convert. Yes, my master carried Elimud. Last week, about on the Pashat Shemot. They will not believe you. You don't believe us. Anything that we say is questionable before you. Who told you that the Torah is dependent on a color of skin to understand it? Who says so? Show me in the Torah. Show me. But I can also prove many things that are not really going according to the Torah, that were said by so many rabbis of previous generations. I can prove them. I can produce them. Okay, that being said, I will call the land by your name, and I will give you a land as beautiful as yours. What is it, this land as beautiful as yours? Canaan, you have got another land. Canaan, is that not the reason why they went to Alexander the Great and said, no, the land of Canaan belongs to us? Why? Because it was given to our cousins, to our whatever. They went to Alexander the Great. Is this not what the rabbis, due respect to my fellow rabbi, was quoting Sanhedrin 97 and said, Canaan, you Africans, you are slaves. My dear good rabbi, with due respect, go to Ariya Kadosh and understand the word Hakanani. Go to Ariya Kadosh. Engage us if you want to. I invite with respect. Canaan, we have got this land. The fact that you have paved the way for Bnei Israel to come without going into contention, as a result of that, the name will remain after your name, will retain your name, the land of Canaan. But in addition to that, not me saying, in addition to that, I will give you a beautiful land. The Tana is saying, Akadosh Baruch Hu is saying, I will give you a beautiful land. Tell me, on this face of the thing called the planet Earth, give me any place described that way. Give me one. I'm not saying, I'm not negating that other lands are not beautiful. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying just give me one. Where the Torah describe the beautiful land, it did not only generalize a beautiful land, it named it, and it says the land of Africa. Not a country, not what is called a country, not a fragment called the states, not a fragment called the constituencies. They have made us to be. We are just now like a bunch of animals into different crawls. That is what they made us. My dear head of state, in the continent of Africa, which tools do you use to unify this thing, to unify the continent? Until when are you stuck in these individual constituencies called countries? And you are happy with that. At a regional level, that probably, and I will prove it that it was not even your ideas. I will prove it one day. At the regional levels, where you are now, my dear good friend, this is a perpetuation of these individual constituencies. And I can guarantee you, my dear good friend, if you do not use the tools of the Torah, the tools that we, the Chief Rabbinate of Africa, is propounding, is advancing, is suggesting, is teaching it to us in order to bring at the Torah language, we are saying Geula Shelema, forget about the unity that you think you would be the champion one day to unite Africa. Understand this, the energy, the spiritual DNA of this thing called Africa, the continent of Africa. Maybe the expression of this thing is a demeaning. No, it's this thing. It's in the current form. I'm describing it in a current form. Why? Because it was despiritualized. The spirit of our ancestors were driven. The spirit of our ancestors were driven, and we were the very one, the corroborators, to send the spirit of our ancestors and kick them through the window. We are now bringing our head to them. And they said, it's good that we are be slave to you. My dear good friend, I wanted to end here because it's about time. My master also to take the podium, if it is a podium, but to take the link, best of Hashem. Before I conclude with the with the Midrash Rabbah. On a Parsha of the week, I selected a small passage on the Midrash Rabbah. Is there any question, any comment?
My comment, Rabbi, is that it will take a serious social trouble and problem for people, for example, in my country, to wake up and start thinking like the way they should be thinking. We live in a world that's heavily politicized, that people who look like us don't see any value in what we say, we the people who look like them. So it would take a crisis, a difficult situation that would bring people who look like us down to earth again, so that they can listen to reason, number one. Number two, start using their brains. Number three, start reaching out to God. And I say this, judging the situation with my experience with my own family, where Hashem reintroduced the Torah, and it drove us in different directions, because who is the one who brings the Torah? Who is the one who restores the ancestors? Who's the one who restores what was broken? Who does he think he is? And so in that situation, the Torah was torn apart in sections, and I had to withdraw because I did not want to subject a holy thing to that kind of politicizing, that kind of treatment. So the nucleus, the situation in the family represents the situation in our societies, not just in South Africa, but everywhere else. There are countries that I'm not going to name by name or say by name that are so politicized that people cannot see a difference between the window and the door. So when you bring reason to them, it sounds like foolishness. When you bring structure to them, they're looking for the place where the power is. Where's the power in all of this? Where's the advantage in all of this? Where do we make money in all of this? So that's why I say it will bring a crisis to the people, to make the people remember and look for what is meaningful and what is good for each one of them. And Bezrat Hashem, when that happens, there will be someone to relate the truth to them. But the way things are at the moment, I think people are just too far away from what is good for them by choice. It would have to be a radical situation that brings a radical realization that we need to go backwards, not forwards. I hope it makes sense. I know I see the rabbi was disconnected. Sorry about that. I know I commented a lot. What does the other Chadarim have to say? Shalom lekulam. What do you guys have to say?
I'm from
Shalom, shalom.
Have you
Shalom,
finished?
shalom. Yes, no. I finished now, Chief Rabbi Pinchas. I
Okay,
ran out of data. My
no
sincere
problem.
apology.
No
Yeah, I'm
problem.
back now. I'm just concluding now. Shalom, shalom, tzaddikim, tzadakot. Are we there?
Ken Rabbi.
Very good. My sincere apology. I ran out of data. So yeah. So yes, what were you saying? It's Tzaddik Zuko?
It was very long, but basically I was saying that the mindset of the people currently cannot accept or even imagine what we are talking about. There would have to be an event that radically changes their mindset, a challenge, a social challenge that will make them to think of going backwards to what is true and what is reasonable.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes, the mind, we have gone too far. The book of Yeshayahu, the Navi Yeshayahu, chapter 20, I think it's chapter 29, and the Pasuk 9, it speaks about the justice. We have to bring justice to this level of existence. Justice. Okay, the Tanaim have said 3 things that we need. That is the truth. The truth is the first. The truth. The Chief Rabbinate of Africa, we are too critical on that. Not what, because when we look at the status of our world, the truth is about the script of the ruling class, the winner, the conqueror, the one who dictates this is truth, this is not. So, my dear good friend, the Midrash Rabbah, not the Midrash Rabbah, the Midrash Tanchum. Okay, I read it in a bit in translation. It says, "Woe to the house whose windows open toward the darkness." It's a mystery when you look at it, the concept of kosher. And they went on to say, and where the light is, where the light is as a darkness. And they went on to say, for the light itself to come from darkness. My dear good friend, my master has said this on numerous occasions. On numerous occasions. And the recent, it was on a Pasha Shemot. The Pasha Shemot, he mentioned not that he mentioned many things. He was alluding to this. He's thought about this. Not only alluding, he taught us about these things. Which is so difficult to look at it in the generation of Ben Ishchai. In his generation, the people were still bothered by the question, the difference between this and that. No, the Torah tells you that in that Tanakh, from Bereshit to Malachi, all these things, no matter how different they have or there are, they belong to the same, all in the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is not about you hating me because I'm black. This is not a reason for me to hate you. I hate what you have done. I don't tolerate it, true, I don't. But yet you are making me to maintain the system that has so savaged my ancestors through history. You are making me to maintain that legacy. Yet it is not Torah. My dear good friend, thank you very much for being here with us, learning Torah, Lishma. If there is something that bothers you, do not hesitate to seek the presence of any rabbi, of the Chief Rabbinate of Africa. To our viewers at the different platforms, thank you for watching us. This is what we do. This is what, this is the reason why we came into being. I encourage you, each one of us, to study Torah. That is only the guarantee of even releasing the conqueror from that desire of you making you and I a subservient, a subject to his whim, to his desire. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.
Amen.
Toda Rabba Tzadikim, and I wish you Chodesh Tov and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.